three innocent 8-year-olds found brutally murdered in a murky ditch, their bodies bearing unspeakable marks. This horror ignited the notorious West Memphis Three case in 1993, where 3 local teenagers faced charges that would haunt a nation for nearly 2 decades. The crime scene, a dense wooded area near Robin Hood Hills in West Memphis, Arkansas, painted a grim picture of extreme violence, with the victims' bodies showing multiple injuries. A disturbing discovery made just 1 day after their disappearance. Within weeks, 3 individuals, Damian Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miskelly Jr., were arrested and subsequently put on trial. Eccles, then 18 years old, was painted as the ringleader, a figure steeped in supposed satanic rituals, a narrative fueled by sensational media coverage and community fear. Baldwin, 16 years old, and Miskelly Jr., 17 years old, were his alleged accomplices, their involvement questioned by many, even as the trials proceeded. The evidence presented by the prosecution was largely circumstantial, relying heavily on a disputed confession from Miskelly Jr., which he later recanted, claiming coercion and mental duress during an interrogation that spanned numerous hours. There were no direct physical links, no DNA evidence unequivocally connecting the accused to the crime scene, only theories about cult activity and an undeniable rush to judgment. Despite a lack of concrete forensic proof and the presence of hundreds of unanswered questions surrounding the investigation, Eccles received a death sentence. Baldwin was given a life sentence, and Miskelly Jr. also received a life sentence plus a 20-year term. For nearly 18 long years, these 3 men languished in various prisons, their plight becoming a rallying cry for justice advocates, musicians, and celebrities worldwide. Numerous appeals were filed, new forensic technologies emerged, and independent investigations uncovered significant flaws in the original case, including the potential for alternative suspects and newly tested DNA samples that unequivocally excluded all 3 defendants. The weight of public opinion swayed heavily in their favor, as more and more evidence pointed to a profound miscarriage of justice. Finally, in 2011, the West Memphis Three were offered an Alford plea, allowing them to maintain their innocence while acknowledging that the state had enough evidence to convict them. This unusual legal maneuver saw them walk free, having served over 6,500 days behind bars for a crime many believe they did not commit. Their release offered a bittersweet end to a saga of immense grief and controversy, leaving the real killer or killers still at large and the families of the victims without true answers or closure. The wounds inflicted by that terrifying event remain a permanent scar on the small Arkansas town. The case continues to represent a stark warning about the dangers of tunnel vision in law enforcement and the lasting impact of injustice on countless lives. They took away 18 years for nothing. The West Memphis Three endured unimaginable suffering. Their lives were stolen after a flawed investigation into the murders of 3 8-year-old boys in 1993. A case that tore a small Arkansas town apart with unanswered questions and deep suspicion. Damian Eccles, then 18, Jason Baldwin, 16, and Jesse Miskelly Jr., 17, were convicted without any real physical evidence connecting them to the heinous crime scene near Robin Hood Hills. Prosecutors built their case on thin air and a highly coercive confession from Miskelly Jr., one he later retracted many times, citing extreme pressure and mental distress during an interrogation that spanned numerous hours. This crucial piece of so-called evidence was severely compromised by police tactics, yet it served to convict all 3. Eccles received a death sentence, a shocking outcome, while Baldwin and Miskelly Jr. each faced life sentences, with Miskelly Jr. also getting an additional 20-year term. For nearly 2 decades, these young men sat in various prisons, facing the harshest realities of the American justice system. Their pleas of innocence falling on deaf ears for many years. Hope seemed distant, but a groundswell of public support began to gather momentum from across the nation and even globally. Musicians, actors, and legal advocates united to shine a bright light on the clear injustices within the West Memphis Three case. Independent investigations re-examined every aspect of the original 1993 police work, uncovering a shocking array of procedural errors and missed opportunities. Forensic science advanced significantly over those 18 years, providing new tools to re-evaluate old evidence. Crucially, new DNA testing on evidence collected from the crime scene offered a groundbreaking development. This modern analysis showed genetic material from unknown individuals, which unequivocally excluded Eccles Baldwin and Miss Kelly Jr. The presence of other DNA pointed strongly to alternative suspects, undermining the entire prosecution theory against the three men. Despite these powerful new findings, the state still resisted outright exoneration. To finally gain their freedom, the three men accepted an Alford plea in 2011, a legal arrangement allowing them to walk free while formally maintaining their innocence. This unusual compromise meant they acknowledged the state had enough evidence to convict them, but they did not admit guilt for the horrific murders. They had served 6,500 days incarcerated for a crime most now believed they did not commit. This arrangement left a bitter taste and no true closure for the victims' families, as the real killer or killers remained unidentified. The immense emotional cost of this drawn-out legal battle affected countless lives beyond the three men themselves, their families, and the families of the young victims, forever marked by the tragedy. The case stands as a stark reminder of tunnel vision in law enforcement and the grave dangers of a rush to judgment based on fear and weak circumstantial evidence rather than irrefutable facts. The lingering scar on West Memphis, Arkansas, continues to highlight the need for careful investigation and due process for everyone. This story warns us about the devastating impact of injustice when the system fails to protect the innocent. 18 years of life vanished for a crime they adamantly denied. The West Memphis Three story continues to haunt Arkansas, a stark reminder of flawed justice. Damian Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miss Kelly Jr. lost 6,500 long days behind bars. They walked free in 2011, but not truly innocent due to an unusual Alford plea agreement. This legal choice let them exit prison while still asserting their complete lack of guilt for the horrific 1993 murders. The agreement meant they admitted the state had enough evidence to convict them, but they never confessed to killing the three young 8-year-old boys near Robin Hood Hills. Their freedom came at a significant cost, leaving no true closure for the devastated victims' families. The real killer or killers of Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers remain unknown to this very day. Original investigators faced heavy criticism for tunnel vision and a rush to judgment based on flimsy circumstantial evidence. Forensic advancements during their incarceration brought new hope and critical revelations. Modern DNA testing on crime scene evidence unequivocally excluded Eccles Baldwin and Miss Kelly Jr. This advanced analysis instead pointed to genetic material from unknown individuals, severely undermining the original prosecution theory. Jesse Miss Kelly Jr.'s highly coerced confession, a key pillar of the state's case, was repeatedly retracted by him. He cited extreme pressure and mental distress during many hours of interrogation. Despite the scientific breakthroughs and public outcry, the state initially resisted full exoneration. This forced the men into the Alford plea, a compromise many found deeply unsatisfying. Eccles originally faced a death sentence, a shocking outcome for a then 18-year-old. Baldwin, then 16, and Miss Kelly Jr., then 17, each received life sentences, with Miss Kelly Jr. also getting an additional 20-year term. Their struggle became a global cause, attracting support from musicians, actors, and legal advocates who tirelessly fought for their release. Independent investigations meticulously re-examined every aspect of the 1993 police work, uncovering a shocking array of procedural errors and missed opportunities. The emotional toll of this drawn-out legal battle affected countless lives, not just the three men, but their families, and the families of the young victims forever marked by this profound tragedy. The West Memphis saga stands as a powerful cautionary tale about the grave dangers of injustice when the system fails to protect the innocent. This lingering scar on the community highlights an ongoing need for careful investigation and due process for everyone involved in such serious cases, ensuring that true justice prevails and the real culprits are brought to accountability instead of innocent people serving time.